every anime fan on the planet can probably agree on one thing. Hollywood sucks at adapting anime into live action movies. So when I saw RRR, I broke into a cold sweat and realized, oh shit, these guys actually did it. If you like anime, you 100% need to see RRR. Technically, RRR is not an anime adaptation.
Well, no fucking shit!
But look at this clip. Is there anything more anime than a man holding a hosepipe like it's a lightsaber? Just to be clear, RRR is hardly a perfect movie.
There's hardly any blood.
It's kind of like if Fast and the Furious was a historical drama, which either sounds awesome to you or makes you recoil in horror. Yet there are 5 specific details, 5 choices the filmmakers made in RRR that I think reveal the secret to making great live-action anime adaptations. So let's jump in with number 1. That was the fundamental arc every manga artist of the iconic Shonen Jump magazine was instructed to follow. And that motto is also the beating heart of RRR. Can you imagine Naruto without his Tomodachi Sasuke? Luffy without his Nakama? RRR nails this aspect of anime perfectly with the relationship between the 2 protagonists, Bhim and Raju. Their bond is fleshed out over multiple montages, their intimacy bordering on homoeroticism. And it's the dramatic tension and struggle between these characters due to their star-crossed goals that forms the central plot of the movie. And like in every Dragon Ball arc ever, they eventually overcome their differences and team up to take down the evil villains. It's painfully simple, and yet Hollywood can't seem to manage this basic aspect of storytelling in their anime adaptations. Like in that Cowboy Bebop show on Netflix. Were Spike and Jet even friends? But Bhim and Raju, they definitely had boners for each other. And the movie successfully conveyed that to me. Which brings me to the second point on my list.
It kind of feels personal.
Anime protagonists aren't necessarily superheroes. They don't selflessly save people they have no connection to. In One Piece, Luffy is literally chasing a selfish dream to be king of the pirates. In Bleach, Ichigo just wants to save his hot lady friends. Hollywood anime adaptations mistakenly paint the characters as cartoonishly magnanimous and altruistic.
I made a promise and I'm not gonna fight.
As if they're all just Superman. RRR avoids this trap by establishing intense, personal motivations for its protagonists. Bhim wants to save the little girl from his village and bang this British chick. Raju wants to steal weapons so his people can fight back against the Brits that made him shoot his own father. Now, what was Goku's motivation in Dragon Ball Evolution again? I'm genuinely asking because I'm pretty sure even the filmmakers can't answer that one. Personal stakes, Hollywood. It's all about the personal stakes. And make your goddamn characters emotional, not these android weirdos. RRR goes for hyper-emotionality on par with the cheesiest of anime. And frankly, I prefer melodrama to the realism Hollywood offers for this kind of film. It's probably clear by this point, but when I say RRR is a great live-action anime, I mean over-the-top shonen anime like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, One Piece, or Dragon Ball. And while popular characters in shonen anime often have godlike powers, a lot of them don't. Take great teacher Onizuka. He's just a human being. But he can survive atomic bombs and has the strength of 100 men. Why? Because it's awesome, that's why. Well, the protagonists of RRR are like Onizuka on steroids. A lot of steroids. The sheer audacity of RRR's action sequences and its pure disrespect for reality and the laws of physics is what makes the experience truly anime-esque. Like in anime, the surreal action and machismo in RRR is just a tool to enhance the emotional impact of the scenes. It's a different world with different rules. So when Bhim jumps out of a truck with a gang of wild animals, possessing no magical powers that allow him to do this, I still don't really question it. He represents the wild rage of an oppressed people. Can you take it seriously? Of course not. Was I laughing hysterically? Absolutely. Did the scene still work? Hell yeah, dude. Back in the day, Indian films never had the budget or technology to pull off grand action set pieces. But now that seemingly 50% of all CGI artists on Earth are Indian, this movie definitely has the CG chops behind it to make the visual spectacle work. Now, there are some uncomfortable questions about the historical accuracy and the fundamentally jingoistic themes of RRR, but I think the movie just wants you to watch the guy throw the tiger and sort of just go with it. RRR has some of the most over-the-top character intros for their protagonists in the history of film. But in the space of anime, some might call this kind of epic character intro mandatory. Remember Uchiha Madara's appearance in Naruto? He doesn't just take out a couple of guys, he calls down a goddamn meteor that kills like 1,000 dudes. It's meant to establish the larger-than-life threat Madara represents. Raju's character intro is probably the best adaptation of that Madara sequence you will ever see. What I wouldn't give to see a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure adaptation directed by the guy who made RRR, S.S Rajamouli. But you'd need someone like Simon Pegg or Stephen Chow to write the script because Rajamouli takes himself way too seriously sometimes. Still, an A+ for anime-style character intros. Speaking of anime intros though, One Piece, Bleach, Cowboy Bebop, One Punch Man, Death Note all had kick-ass soundtracks that are still instant nostalgia triggers. And I think Indian cinema has a huge advantage here. Every Indian movie is pretty much a musical with extended, memorable dance sequences, which makes Bollywood the perfect place to bring anime opening sequences to life. And RRR's musical sequences seem to really click with the global audience, evidenced by the Oscar they won. Might surprise you to know, RRR isn't even technically a Bollywood film. RRR came out of Tollywood, which is basically Bollywood's jacked South Indian cousin. But be it Bollywood or Tollywood, if that Natu Natu dance sequence was your jam, and you haven't seen any other Indian movies, trust me, there is a lot more where that came from. Just Google Bollywood dance numbers. That should keep you busy for, 35 years. The last thing I want to say is that RRR certainly exploits a lot of the same tropes as anime. But Tollywood movies aren't ripping off anime, they come from their own tradition of exaggerated melodramatic films. So ultimately, like with anime, a lot of this just comes down to you, the audience. Some people just watch anime and hate it. They ask questions like, why does that girl sound like she's 12 even though she's clearly an adult? Or why is 90% of this episode just two shirtless dudes yelling mindlessly? And honestly, I don't have an answer for them. RRR is the same way. You might just hate it. For me, RRR kind of falls apart at the halfway point, and I was often laughing at the movie, not with it. But I promise you, nothing you'll see from modern Hollywood will capture the deranged, ridiculous, emotional essence of anime the way RRR does. Anyway, I hope you give this movie a shot and let me know in the comments if it scratched that anime itch for you. Cheers, I'll see you in the next one.